All right, here we are early in the morning in Baltimore. We're at the Grand Prix here, and we're watching Reid draft cons for the first draft of the day, and he's opened up a pretty decent pack here.
You just say that because there's a Trail of Mystery in the front.
I don't actually like that card that much. I'm a Secret Plans man myself. I think it's fine. I like Armament Core.
This pack's not great.
No, this pack's not great at all.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have any easy pick here. He can take Trail of Mystery.
You can take Horde Chief. You can take Armament Core, like 3-color gold. Is it worth it?
It's close. It's borderline. The one thing about opening up Trail of Mystery this early, though, is that you can take
build
it
around
and then build around it.
Looks like Reid is a Trail guy. I was going to say, this feels like you're either a Trail of Mystery guy or you're not.
Yeah, and I am. Like, I would take Trail of Mystery out of this pack. I'm just not in love with the card. I think it's close.
Just not as good as Secret Plans?
I think Secret Plans is better, yeah.
I'll buy that. All right, well, Reid does go Trail of Mystery, so he's going to be looking for, the Morph deck, probably blue-green, hoping he gets past the Secret Plans.
Yep.
I think it's a perfectly reasonable way to approach the format. And
yeah.
Getting that early lets you build around it.
It's that pack one, pick one that really lets you go with it. If you pick it up in the third pack, you kind of have to think, okay, well, how many morphs do I have? Even if you're in green, maybe this is worth it, maybe it's not, but it gets a little awkward. Now, he's going to be able to have these tiebreaker picks where it's like, well, I could take this decent morph or this other card, and he'll just take it. It's like the judges are just kind of holding him there.
We're not paused. Reid's hand is actually that still.
No, he can do that. He's like a ninja. He's just completely
I'm like,
still.
I thought, okay.
See that?
His fingers actually does
you know
move.
That he's still alive.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reid 9-0 coming into this.
Yeah,
so
he's just
5-way tie for first.
9-0 coming in.
Great shape.
In a really stacked pod too. Ooh, he pulls Death Frenzy right to the front of the pack. That can go pretty nicely with what he's trying to do.
Nomad Outpost can go nicely with a bunch of morphs. Wow, I might try land here. What do you think?
I might try land here as well.
I mean, Death Frenzy's decent. It's not great in a deck full of morphs, right?
Right.
I mean, after you flip them, I guess, but I mean, it doesn't feel like that's where he really wants to go.
It depends. Yeah, I mean...
You could have Free Weapon Master or Glacial Stalker. I think I would take the Nomad Outpost, though.
Yeah, Feat of Resistance, obviously, like, I think if he would have taken the Horde Chief...
The Horde Chief? Oh, yeah. If he'd taken first pick Horde Chief, I think he'd follow up with Feat.
Yeah.
Although even there, Nomad Outpost. Wow, he goes Death Frenzy.
He does. I mean, it's a little weird because Nomad Outpost is saying, I'm going in a completely another direction, right? I mean, it doesn't have green in it, so it's like you're. I mean, it's not that you're abandoning the pick, but you.
No, but I mean, in my mind, you're going to wind up with 4, maybe 5 colors worth of morphs in this Trail of Mystery deck.
Totally. Let's see what he picks up out of this third pack.
Huh.
Well, he picks up a Mystic of the Hidden Way there. If he wants to
shuffling the black cards to the front.
Yeah, I mean, he did pick up his 2 cards are green and then green-black, so it does make sense. Though picking up a Karu Bloodsucker here is not great.
No, I think I would Mystic of the Hidden Way.
I feel like I would too. It looks like he's going to take Blossoming Sands, so leaning a little bit towards the Obzon here.
Sure.
Sure. I don't think that's. I think it's kind of neither here nor there. He still doesn't have a really strong push as to where he's actually going. Oh, there's a Kintry invitation. That's a nice one.
Yeah, that's a decent sign that green-black is probably available, right?
I'm going to Sultai Charm as well, so maybe Sultai's a little bit open. I think the Kintry invitation makes a lot of sense here. It's already his 2 colors, and it's a really solid little uncommon that you can get a lot of power out of.
I think I agree. Sultai Charm's probably the only other one that's tempting.
Yeah, I mean, there's other good cards, like Abomination Gadul's good, Treasure Cruise, he'd probably play one of those, Glacial Stalker, sure, but he's just not blue yet, so I don't think he sees any reason to be blue. Maybe he picks up
I see Trail of Mystery.
Obzon guide or something.
Trail of Mystery feels like you're leaning toward green-blue, but he may have already abandoned that pick, right?
Yeah.
He's not getting past, Ice Feather Avens.
That's right. Ooh, there's an Archer's Parapet hiding right at the back. It was the last card, and it was like, yeah.
Does that card go well with Kintry Invocation?
And Death Frenzy, yes. That is absolutely a nice
tempted by the Skull Hunter?
I think Reid likes the Skull Hunter quite a bit. I've seen him draft it a little higher than I'd expect, but I think he's just going to slam the Parapet here. And Karu Lichlord, by the way, is not a pull at all. Like, that's not one of those rares where you're like, oh, wow, I got a 5th pick Karu Lichlord. That's not the one. Way too clunky to make it work right. Ooh, a Throttle here, too. Oh, wow.
The Obzon Guide?
The Obzon Guide I almost jokingly just mentioned has arrived. Interestingly, with the Blossoming Sands as well, which, he took earlier. And I think he's just, like, if you're going to take the Blossoming Sands 2 picks earlier, you're taking the Obzon Guide here. Because he could take Throttle.
Right.
And try to stay just black-green and figure out whether he wants to be blue or white, but that's why you go white. Obzon Guide. So.
And the fact that you're getting past it here is also a good sign.
Wow, what a great sign. I'd be really excited to see that if I was Reid.
Weapon
And
Masters,
there's a long shot squad. Yeah. Now, this is an interesting one.
Sidisi's pet?
Yeah, because like Sidisi's pet's playable. It's not good,
And
but
he does
it's
still have a Trail of
playable.
Mystery in his pile.
The Trail of Mystery. So it's kind of like, does he really want to be Trail of Mystery?
Sage Eye Harrier.
Yeah, because if not, I think long shot squad's kind of the default pick. You know, you just pick it up. But yeah, he
Wow,
does. He
no
wants
Sidisi's
to
pet.
use that trail. And you can also see that Reid is he's drafting a control deck here, right? I mean, all of his cards have been defensive so far.
And only splashing white, too.
Yep. Oh, that's interesting.
Sultai Soothsayer.
Yeah, Soothsayer's excellent in the type of deck that Reid's trying to build here.
It does add a fourth
But
color. It would be the
it's
first blue
yeah.
mana symbol. What are you taking, those Sagu Archer?
Yeah, you're taking Sagu Archer.
The
over
difference in
other
power
ones.
level between those cards is so high. I
It's
think
just
I
too
agree
big.
with the
It's just
Soothsayer
too
pick.
big. You can pick up a Sagu Archer if you want. It probably makes the main deck. I mean, with your Kintry Invocation, having a 5 toughness creature's decent. It can shore up the flying game for you a little bit.
Is it
And of
Scout
course,
the
it
Borders
works
time?
well with the Trail of Mystery, but
Seems like it's Scout the Borders
yeah,
time.
there's just nothing else for him.
Some people will play a Marauding Mastodon.
I guess when you have a Kintry Invocation. 8/8 your
8/8s.
turn. I think Reid's controlling, but not that controlling here.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like he's got light splash of white potential. Another Sagu Archer. Yeah, that was quick. That was easy.
Yeah, I think he's actually quite pleased to pick that one up here. Again, it actually goes in his deck reasonably well.
Yeah, it blocks. It triggers a Trail of Mystery.
Yeah, it makes his Kintry Invocation nice.
There's only 4 cards left in the pack, so definitely.
Yeah.
So at this point, he's solidly green-black.
Yes.
He's
And
got-
he is dabbled in white. And
right,
dabbled
with-
in blue.
I think it's literally exactly 1 card of each, right?
It
It's
is.
just
It-
the
it-
Obs on Guide and the
yes.
Soothsayer.
The tiebreaker,
But there's a
though, is
Blossoming
the
Sands.
Blossoming Sands. Yeah. So that's kind of. But there's a really late abomination. Yeah.
Suddenly, Blue's winning the tiebreaker.
You know, I feel like it might be. It's tough because that dual land is a really strong pull towards playing white. Like it's even if your splash card was even a little bit worse, which it's not. Abzan Guide is definitely on par with what he's got with the Soothsayer and the Abomination. But that card is really going to be tough for Reid to get away from. Like unless he picks up some dual lands later.
I mean, Trail of Mystery does do some fixing.
That's true. He
Right?
could
I mean,
run.
it counts as the equivalent of a 4-color dual land, probably.
Totally.
Like 1 4-color dual land.
Right, like he could run Abzan Guide with Blossoming Sands and like 8 planes.
Right. 1 planes that you can get with the Trail of Mystery.
And
You
maybe
can-
he picks up another white card somewhere along the line that's worth it, maybe a second Abzan Guide.
Yeah, I mean, you still got 2 packs of multi-lands to
That's
pick up,
right,
too.
yeah.
Although, look how quickly the multi-lands dried up in that pack.
They did.
He 3rd picked Blossoming Sands, and like there was 1 additional dual land the whole time.
And it was another.
It was in the
a
Obzan
Blossoming
Guides.
Sands
Yeah, it was
with
the
the
Blossoming
Abzan
Sands with the
Guide,
Obzan Guide, exactly. This table clearly wants to take the dual lands over the common morphs, for example, because like a free weapons
Yeah.
miss were floating, the Obzan Guide floated, there was a Snowhorn Rider in the Obzan Guide pack.
Right.
This table is taking the
Very
lands
late
super aggressively.
Abomination, yeah.
Very late Abomination, exactly.
Yeah, they're not interested. So I'm really curious to see where Reid goes with this here. I think he would prefer to be either in Sultai and Abzan, but I think that he's definitely going to be open to being in both and just saying no red.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what he gets here. Whoa, Hooded Hydra. That's not bad. Let's take a look at the rest of the pack, but you got to figure that since he's
Yeah.
already deep into green, he's just windmilling the
He's
Hydra.
in
here.
green. He likes
Wow.
morphs.
He likes morphs too, goodness sakes. This is just ridiculous pickup for him, really.
Now he just needs multi-lands. He's got Philip Yam passing to him from this direction, by the way. And then Craig Wesco is on Philip's left, passing toward Reid as well. Reid is currently passing to John Davis and Andrew Cuneo, 2 seats to his right.
And that's for pack 2.
Yeah, that was the
So-
pack two. Cuneo's on his right. Cuneo was feeding him 2 away.
So do you think Cuneo's on the full 5 color? Like, is he just snatching up all those duels?
I don't know. I think
Somebody
Cuneo
was
can-
doing it.
Somebody was, for sure. We've also got Chris Bakula all the way on the other side of the table.
All right, there's
Skull
another
Hunter,
Archer's
Parapet.
pick. Wow, Necropolis
Oh,
Fiend.
boy.
Nothing like being in green-black and getting shipped to Necropolis Fiend after opening a Hooded Hydra.
This has to be an easy Necropolis
Yeah,
Fiend,
it's just
right?
very easy, yeah.
There's no dual lands for him anyway.
Nope. Only one in the pack, and it's not one he wants.
Like, I think you might take a dual land over Willie Loxodon or Archer's Parapet, just because
That
he
is
has so
possible.
few in his pack, but you wouldn't take one over Necropolis Fiend. And it's not like there's one in the pack anyway. Yeah, I think he's just looking at what might come back at this stage.
Correct. Wow.
This deck got a lot better.
This is just dreamy. I'm really wondering if he can even start to look away from
Blossoming
that.
Sands.
Wow, and here's Sirach Dragonclaw too?
I don't think you're playing him.
I know.
You're not
but
adding red.
What the heck is he doing here? Looks like nobody's in Teamer on his left.
Nobody's in Teamer on his left.
Goodness
That is correct.
because that's his second Bears companion.
I think
we've
you
seen, too.
just...
I think you just take the Blossoming Sands.
Yeah. Grit your teeth, pass Sirach, and take Blossoming
Yeah,
Sands.
now the argument against this is...
You're going to have to play against the
I'm-
Sirach?
Well, no. I think the argument is if I'm going to play a Trail of Mystery deck, like, why am I playing that card if I don't get to unlock all the really powerful stuff that I hope?
Well, you talked him into it.
I guess so.
He goes Sirach Dragonclaw.
I mean, it is very powerful. He is. I'm nervous about the land situation.
Yeah. It's one Sirach, right?
Right. Ooh, Soul Tie Flare.
I mean, there's only the... Yeah, nice. You Flare or Abomination?
well,
or Charm?
I think it's between Charm and Flare, and I think you take the Flare. Now, Reid could be thinking, I don't have much removal here. Does he have any?
He has a Death Frenzy.
He has a Death Frenzy, right? Which is a sort of a general thing, and he might be concerned about that and take
Yeah,
it.
so Soul Tie Charm.
I don't blame him. He's going to be bummed to pass that Soul Tie Flare. That's a card he would love to see in his deck, but I can definitely see what Reid's doing there. Long Shot Squad's just flying around the table. God,
No
another
lands.
Abomination.
Back is dry.
No lands.
Those banners are going to start to get tempting, I
Yeah,
think.
they certainly are. That's next pack, though. You can put
It's not
that
banner time yet.
Put that decision
Maybe
off.
late this pack.
Yeah,
Certainly not tempting here by any stretch of the imagination.
right.
He's currently 5-color with like a Blossoming Sands
He is.
and a Trail of Mystery.
Right, and I think that he's got to be really, really careful not to fall into that trap, right? Because the games where he has Trail of Mystery, he'll be able to cast all his spells. But the ones where he doesn't, like, what is he even doing, right?
Wow.
Not casting anything.
Scout the Borders. Another Death Frenzy is the obvious pick here.
He likes Death Frenzy a lot. Sagu Archer number 2 doesn't really have the same punch as Sagu Archer number 1. Death Frenzy.
Doesn't really want to play
Very
against
powerful.
Death Frenzy with all his morphs. He wants to
Right.
control when that spell resolves.
I mean, when is he going to get his Secret Plans? That's the tech, right? Double Death Frenzy Secret Plans deck. That's a thing. Your morph survived. There's die.
My morphs are 2/3.
Hey! I almost
Straight to the front.
I almost don't think Reid cares what was in the rest of this pack. I've never seen him move so fast to move that Tormund Falls to the front.
I bet Sirach's in his sideboard right now, by the way.
You think so?
I don't think he's 5-color. I don't think you would play Sirach with this when your fixing's this bad.
No way. I mean, if he did, I think it would be a mistake at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the draft plays out, right? It's a nice, super powerful card. He's speculating a little bit. If he does get a run of duels or some other reasons to play around, Savage Punch is not bad here. He said he had no removal.
Yeah.
He's got enough. He's going to be able to trigger the Ferocious ability, quite likely.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's great for him, but I think he needs to take it.
Yeah, it's either that or the Abomination. I think it's an easy Savage Punch.
And apparently he can just pick up abominations at will. He's seen like 5 of them now. I think he's got 2, but
Smoke Teller to round out the curve. Bear's
Well,
Companion in
Bear's
case you
Companion.
wind up Teamer.
Yeah, he loves the I know-
Rakshas's Secret.
Right, but Reid
Oh, Bitter
loves
Revelation.
himself a Bitter Revelation. Like, that's a card he's a big fan of.
Yeah,
I
he
knew he
does
was
Bitter
going to take it. I watch him draft a bunch, and he's a big fan, and I am too. I think the card's really good. And in a deck like this where you are base green-black, that's pretty
Parapet
nice.
came back.
Yes, it did. Lovely.
Oh, yeah,
Great pickup for Reid.
definitely. Yeah, some people might want to round out their curve with Smoke Teller. He'd rather round it out with Archer's Parapet.
That's right.
That is the deck he's playing.
Saga Archer.
I think he staked out a claim to green.
Goodness sakes.
Archer over Become Immense.
Yeah, I like that too. Become Immense, really nice if you're in that sort of blue-green tempo deck.
The Long Shot Squad
Long
came
Shot
back.
Squad just there still?
Wow.
That's sick.
This deck's great.
Certainly seems to have found himself a nice niche and ran well with his opens too, so
All
this
true.
is working out
It's banner
beautifully.
time.
Yeah.
It's a Mardu banner, but
Yeah, the thing that's going through my mind here is I want to know what Reid's thinking as far as what colors am I actually, right? Like he still has that Obzon guide floating around along with the Blossoming Sands, but it feels like he's just Sultai to me. Like I think you
Sultai.
I think you just throw away the other cards and you're just Sultai at this point. Like,
Oh yeah, with the white
wrong
is
with
one
that?
Obzon Guide.
yeah, it's one Obzon Guide for white.
I might play one Plains and a Blossoming Sands for an Obzon
Yeah,
Guide.
I might, but
Surrock's not a morph. It's a lot easier to throw away red.
yes,
Right, you can't play him face down for 3.
right.
Yeah, I agree. He's Sultai.
And then maybe splash white, but I don't know if Surrock's
Yeah, if you had
really
to-
worth it here.
If you had to bet right now, I would say you probably do splash white. You probably don't splash the red.
Right.
I mean, a lot of it depends. I mean, all I'm thinking is Opulent Palace, Opulent Palace, Opulent Palace.
Reid thinks a little bigger than you does. He thinks
think?
Hooded Hydra, Ask Necropolis Fiend. He's like, oh, got there again. This is all part of the training that he takes part in the Peach Garden Oath. You know?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Visualize the win.
Visualize the mythic. All right, let's see if Reid can do it again in this third pack. Crack something just ridiculous. Or a land.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Visualize the mythic. We're gonna get a Sarkin out of this, aren't we? It's not what he wants.
You'd have to pass that. Maybe Reid is like bargaining, and he's just saying, "Yeah, just an Arrow of the Wilds. I'm not asking for another Hooded Hydra here. Just ship me an Arrow of the Wilds. I'll be
I'm telling
happy."
you, if we're asking for uncommons,
It's
try
Opulent
land,
Palace.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll settle for a white one or a red one. Just not white and red.
It's fair. So it looks like we've had just a little pause here, but here we go.
Herald of
Herald
Anafenza.
of Anafenza.
White rare. Not quite what he wanted.
Not quite, but
Wow.
yeah, not much there for him.
What
He's
do
got a
you do?
Blossoming
Jeskai
Sands,
Elder,
but it's-
Blossoming Sands?
Well, it's this weird situation where he wants a Blossoming Sands so he could play the Herald, but
Right.
it's not going to work that way. Wow, this is actually a really tough pick here for Reid. There's certainly nothing obvious. If he takes a Blossoming Sands over the Herald, he's opening up the Obzon Guide, but
You take
Shrug.
Blossoming Sands over Herald. It's a one mana card. I would take Blossoming Sands over Herald.
I don't see
I
like
think
the
it's
upside.
Blossoming Sands or Jeskai Elder. The upside is you get to play Obzon Guide. And the Obzon Guide, you're going to get passed in 3 picks.
That's the upside. Like if he thinks he's going to get another Obzon Guide, then I'm in on it.
Yeah, it's like 50-50. He gets past one.
50-50? Oh,
don't
like
know.
right, like how here you.
The rest of this pack, I think he's got a decent shot of getting past an Obzon Guide.
Yeah, you're
Maybe it's not
probably right.
50%, but
No,
I mean, it's
I don't know how to run the percentages.
it's a real
but-
percent.
But you're right. It is definitely not unlikely, especially because it's already happened.
right. Jungle Hollow.
And there's an
How about the
Obzon
Obzon
Guide?
Guide?
Hey.
We took the Blossoming Sands, so now it's
Now the question is, what
This
do you
one's
take
trickier.
here? Because the Jungle Hollow, he really needs.
no. Jungle Hollow is great, but so is Obzon Guide, and he's got 2 Blossoming Sands
Yes, he's already
and the
committed
Trail of
picks.
Mysteries. Now you can play 1 Plains for 2 Obzon Guides.
Wow, these picks have been really, really tough for Reid.
I have no idea whether he's
I
supposed to take
think
Obzon Guide
I
or
think
Jungle
the
Hollow
good
here.
guy, right play is to take the Jungle Hollow.
Is
I think
it?
you just suck it up and you
Really?
say, I need this to cast all of my spells.
Yeah, his deck's good enough.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. It's not like he needs to gamble.
No.
He get the good opens last pack. He had the good late picks in green.
Yeah.
I think his deck is good
It's
enough
just
that he
very
doesn't need to
awkward
gamble.
though, because like he has dedicated 2 real picks to
Oh, yeah.
white, and now he has to pass the
Mandrills?
payoff.
Oh, another Sultai Charm.
Yeah. This is actually just a great pack for him. Ruthless Ripper, I
too.
love. I mean, that card is fantastic.
Bitter Revelation comes to the front, of course.
Yeah, he
Don't think that's
again,
not this time.
Yeah, there's a Throttle back there as well, but I think Sultai Charm would take that slot here.
Yeah.
Ruthless Ripper's a morph.
Sultai Charm's a removal spell.
I tell you what, I would take Sultai Charm. I think he's going to take Ripper, but I would take Sultai Charm. And the reason for this is I believe that he's already got the ground game pretty well shored up.
He doesn't need it.
I
He's
just
got
don't think
Parapet,
he needs
Parapet,
it.
Death Frenzy.
Death Frenzy. Like, I don't think he's going to get killed on the ground. Normally, though, I would take Ripper,
Okay.
but I think Sultai Charm would edge it out slightly there for me, just because I want to be able to pick off some annoying thing that they can do on the other side.
Now, he's not really an incremental growth deck,
He
but he
is
could
not.
be a Hooting Mandrills deck.
Totally.
He's got the Flock at the front, though.
It's interesting. I mean, he
You
only
take Flock over Hooting Mandrills?
maybe. I mean, it is a morph, and he's also got I think only the Sagu Archer right now to deal with flyers. Well, that's not true. He does have an abomination as
There's
well.
also, I think it's 2 Abominations. Also,
Yeah.
many of the Flyers die to
Yes,
Death Frenzy.
That's true. Ooh, there's a flare. I like the flare here. There's a lot of options.
Over the
though.
Dragon's Eye Savant?
I do. I like
He's
the flare
clearly-
over it.
He likes his walls in this deck.
Well, I don't blame him. I mean, I think that's a reasonable pick. Remember, he's got the Kintry Invocation floating around there too, so that works with that. Dragon's Eye Savant's very powerful. I'd ask a little bit less, but I'm a huge fan of flare because it can actually get you out of some positions where you were probably going to lose if the game kept going. And what you find yourself with these Sultai-based decks is that they find themselves in a spot where they'll take some damage early.
Oh, Bloodstained Mire gives him the touch of red. It's probably not. Probably too late
It
for
is
Sirach.
interesting, actually.
Came to the front. Do you really need Archer's Parapet number 3 to
don't
go with
think
your
you do.
Monastery
I
Flock
don't
and your
think you
Dragon's
do.
Eye Savant? That's a lot of 0 power.
This actually does open up Sirach if he wants it. Interesting.
Might be
I don't know that he
speculation.
needs it.
Takes it out of the draft for somebody else who needs it more.
Yeah, this is interesting. There's a Mandrels.
Mandrels. Tranquil Cove. Huh. The white is still just the one Obzon guy?
Yeah.
It's probably not getting past another one from here.
Yeah.
I might Hooting Mandrels.
I would
There's
too.
nothing he has to win the game with something.
Also, the Tranquil Cove's a little awkward because it's like, I think that blue is his least color outside. It's like black-green are his two main colors.
Yep.
It's got a little bit of blue, a very, very little bit of white, and a very, very little bit of red.
This is an easy Kintry Warden, right?
What else is in there? Wow, Aerostorm is
Yeah,
hanging
Aerostorm.
around? Jeez. Yeah, you
Somebody's
just take
getting
the
hooked up
Warden,
on
but-
red.
Wow. Why is that Aerostorm still there? That's going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
We'll find a home shortly, I'm sure. And nothing left here for Reid.
Take a Naturalize for your sideboard. That's probably more likely to come in than a
Just in case
Mastodon.
somebody opened a Ghostfire Blade or
Yeah.
whatever.
I guess.
Yeah, it's just nothing there for him. I'm really curious to see how Reid ends up building this because I think he's definitely got a powerful deck here lined up.
He's got a great control deck, but
Yes.
it feels light on victory conditions.
It does, and that might push him into the Sirach Dragonclaw camp here.
Off one multi-land and a
Yeah.
Trail of Mystery?
Yeah. He might just run a single mountain and figure I've got 2 sources for it. My deck can go long. I've got Bitter Revelation.
Wouldn't it have been easier to just take a couple Hooting Mandrels?
Hey,
Oh.
Reid Duke with the golf clap. knew it, had it coming. I really love Hooting Mandrels
Well
in this
played.
deck. I think it's beautiful in this deck. Just a nice little finisher he can play on the ground. Remember, he's got 1 Savage Punch. It works well with that.
Right, right.
I love what Reid's drafted here, though. This is,
Yeah.
like, for me, this is exactly where I want to be in this format every time. Like,
All
I
right,
don't
so
need
grade
any red
grade the deck.
cards.
Out of 10.
I mean, I have to see how
Wow,
deep
2 late
he
morphs to
goes.
choose from. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, just pet it up.
Sure, that's
Zombie
better than
ape.
Kintry Warden?
Did the second one,
I
because
guess.
he already has one.
It's the second one either way.
I give him a B+ on his seat. I think that there was a couple of, hemming and hawing in there that maybe he could have done. And I think his deck is going to be very solid, probably B+ as well. What do you got him at?
Well, I asked out of 10, so I was thinking 7 for the deck. I mean, the deck might be a little better. I don't know that it's an 8. I don't know that it has the top end. It feels like a little bit. It has the potential to just play defense, and never actually win the game.
Yeah, 7.5, 8 feels right for that.
Somewhere in there.
I give him that same for the seat. You can take a look at it.
I mean, I definitely think he positioned himself well being in green. Yeah, there you get a nice look at the rest of the table.
All right,
Chris Pakula on the far side, Andrew Cuneo. This is going to be a fun draft to watch play out.
it will be indeed.